episode 2.
Yes. I'm resident of Collinwood for YouTube, Joel Sains. That's my buddy Patrick McRae. That's my buddy Alan Glenn. We're here to review Season 1, Episode 2 of Hap and Leonard. Really interesting episode, too. You get the killers, the serial killers, are having dinner. Raw steak. Yeah.
Raw steak at the diner.
I do like this episode too because you get a search for the treasure or the location of the treasure, and
you also get the reticence to really sort of discuss it with Howard, who becomes less and less trustworthy with every growth.
Oh yeah, I don't trust him at all.
It also gets into how landscape changes over time.
Mm-hmm.
That's the exciting part.
Yeah, when they discover the dry bed and they have to, and then Trudy figures out, and apparently she and Howard figured out what was going on with that, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah, a good sort of like series to like watch if you're like into like the treasure thing is Oak Island, which is really good. But yeah, it was really interesting. They figured out what was going on with that, and the serial killers are still searching for the leader of a gang who's working for Howard, who's working with Howard for the moment. When did you guys sort of? Everybody suspects Howard because he's shady as shit.
Mm-hmm.
But were you guys sort of okay? Spidey senses up with everybody's loyalty here for the most part, or?
Well, the thing about Howard is he's not a doer.
Yeah,
he's a thinker. He's a manipulator. He's a guy that gets other people to do stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily suspect him of being the wet work guy at this point, anyway. But he certainly is probably connected to some pretty sleazy stuff. The interesting thing too is that Trudy and Hap obviously might as well still be married because they can't keep their hands off each other. It's almost like they're in a honeymoon period every time they see each other.
That's the part that makes it, from what I've been told, unlike marriage.
Well, yeah, it's true. Unlike most marriages, you're right. But the thing is that they just can't seem to keep their hands off each other at some point. The tension builds, and there they go. But she's also the only person that he'll talk to or participate with from Howard's side for obvious reasons. They've known each other forever. They've been married, and all this sort of stuff. I can't figure out why she's with Howard. I really can't.
But that alone is a man sifting through the mystery of.
Sure. I mean, Hap is thinking the same thing. I can't figure out why you're with this guy, So that's good writing. That it makes the audience right in there with him.
And identify, sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I will say one thing about this episode. I've never seen any episode of anything that makes cutting trail look metal.
Yeah.
I used to cut trail, and it's not metal. It sucks. It's just and they're cutting trail, and the music behind it is like just drives you. It's amazing what they do with the soundscape in this thing to really kind of push, the mood, what they're looking for. But it's also an opportunity to see these two guys, Hap and Leonard, in their element. These guys they're Leonard's a tracker. It's obvious he's a tracker, and so is Hap, because Hap's the one that remembers where all this stuff is. Once they get into it, once they get into the bush, it's like, okay. That means if that's the tree that we used to yada yada, then that means that over here is where the Iron Bridge is. And sure enough, there it was, with a dry riverbed.
Yeah. You also get a little more into Hap and Leonard's like past history, how they met a bit. There
That's
was
a story that just deepens
Yeah.
over the next season, or over this season, and then the next season, season 2, is all about dealing with that son of the judge and the judge himself, and
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah. We get to see, an interesting side of the. We start to see certain things about the relationship of Hap and Leonard here.
yeah,
Trudy is talking to Leonard, and she obviously wants to connect with him in some way, and he's just like, yeah, no. But she knows things about him. She sees things in him that he doesn't want people to see, like the fact that he plays this game where Hap needs me, and it's really kind of the other way around in a lot of ways.
yeah.
yeah,
It's like their friendship is a long-term love affair in a lot of ways. At
yeah.
least from Leonard's point of view, he
Oh yeah.
don't want to admit it that way. He wants it to be framed a certain way.
Well, he's tempting it frequently, especially that moment when he gets out of the bed, just kind of
yeah,
stands there.
yeah, yeah. He goes, "Jesus, cover up." It's just- yeah, but that's also Hap reinforcing the fact that, hey, I'm straight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's probably had to do that dozens of times and doesn't think too much doesn't think anything of it. It just happens. That's what happens.
Yeah. You also have, I like Leonard's line in this episode where he says, I swear I need oven mitts to wear.
Yeah,
The Lansdale dialogue just is
yeah,
priceless.
it is. It's very
Mm,
good. It it's real, but it's also really clever. It's interesting. It holds your attention,
yeah.
as well as being somewhat authentic. So,
And it has a consistent sound. If you go back and look at Bubba Hotep,
oh yeah.
the syntax has the
Hmm.
same music.
Well, this is why I'm thinking. This is Louisiana as much as it is Texas. It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
it's just the swamps just bilge into one another. And the fact that this is southeastern Texas, there's still a lot of that affect of Louisiana in the geography. Like, yeah, rivers and creeks change course based on flooding. Happens all the time. Where in other parts of the country it doesn't happen. That doesn't happen.
Yeah. The filming of the show took place in Baton Rouge,
Yeah,
Louisiana.
see, there you go.
Although the series is set in 1980s in a fictional town of Lenoard in East Texas. Two of the locations used were an old women's hospital and the Celtic Media Century.
Yeah, it's clear that it's southeast Texas as well.
Yeah.
It's pretty clear just from the
It
map.
explains the Gators in the next episode, too.
Oh well, you see that oh my God, you
Oh,
see it.
Gator's really important in this episode.
Yes, it's true.
Yeah.
Very true. It
Yes.
acts as an aphrodisiac, actually.
Often does.
Yes, it's snapping gators, man.
I will be bringing to the Dark Shadows thing in Lyndhurst a live alligator to keep in the room.
Mm-hmm.
With the hope to recreate that effect.
Uh-huh.
Oh my God. That's
Life-size rubber one might work okay too.
just bring a big crocodile or alligator and have it do
Oh,
it.
you're going to say bring a big crock pot.
Yeah.
Because at most conventions, that would
Yes,
that would work as well.
yes.
Yes, absolutely. What's some of you guys' favorite scenes in this episode?
I like the sort of Hardy Boys adventure quality that it has. That's what really works for me overall in this one.
Mm-hmm.
It's the fun of the Indiana Jonesing around outside and trying to put two and two together, and where you have the mystery. more than just the funny stuff, although there's a lot, and the occasional heartbreak. Oh, I love the work done by the guy who plays Howard when he gets out of bed and he's walking around the house, putting
Yeah.
two and two together. That's a great moment of clarity. It's, in terms of his performance, is very good.
Yeah, it is, and it also is indicative of how he really feels about everything. In spite of his hippie ethos, he's not really into it. But she is, so he doesn't. That's another thing. That's a sort of there's a bit of cuck stuff going on, which adds to his resentment.
Yeah, you must be this tall to ride this ride.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of my favorite. Or sorry, go ahead, Alan. What's your favorite?
The adventure stuff, in particular, the night stuff where Trudy and Hap are running around, and all of that sort of thing, because that's real Hardy Boys, Trixie Belden stuff, kind of stuff. It's like, we're going to find it, and they find a clue, at least, that the location is probably close, in when they find the license plate. So it has a payoff to the scene. It's also, part of their relationship, where they get lost in each other. Every time they get together where they're alone, they get lost in each other. And they time goes backward for them in a lot of ways. Even as she tries to convince him to, like, I'm going to give my money to Howard. Baloney. But she's got that naivete where it comes to Howard, I think, as for some reason. And through episode 2, we don't quite know what that reason is, but she's attracted to him for her own reasons. Maybe altruism is part of that. She gives the Mexico story, and talking about the kids in Mexico and how she wants to go back there. So maybe there is an altruistic thing that's sort of shading her estimation of Howard as a person.
Yeah. I really like how they kept the uncle involved in this episode too, by getting him to the hospital. Stuff had happened to him.
There are important reasons, especially the second season, that Uncle Chester keeps coming back.
Yeah. But I like what they do here by keeping him involved within the frame of the story.
Sure.
Because he's going to be an important character down the road, more so.
It's a revelation about Lenoard too. As soon as as much as they are at loggerheads with each other, he's family, and as soon as there's a problem, he's off to the races. He's off to see him, to be with him. So.
Yeah, and Lenoard does not mind solving a problem by kicking someone's ass.
No, he doesn't. He's the ideal friend in a lot of ways, And
he's very capable as an individual. He's self-sufficient in that way. He can take care of himself and his friends.
And I really like Trudy at work here, where she meets the serial killers. Again, she doesn't know who they are. One of them, the man picks up something, the cup that the customer knocked over, and he goes, "Hey, can you get another steak for my girl? She, medium rare. She likes it bloody." And she does look at them kind of like,
her antenna's going off.
You're sort of weird, but then she notices the cops, and that's another thing too I love here. I love where Hap is confronting the guy, but he goes, "You just weren't in that gang. You were the leader of the gang. You blew up, basement and stuff." And he's like, yeah. It's like, so there's Hap is realizing, okay, this whole plot here is thickening each time.
Well, you've got a bunch of highly volatile people coming together, and and Leonard's antenna goes off first. He doesn't want to have anything to do with it, initially. But then finally Hap's antenna is going off, not only because he's got a thing with Howard, and Howard has a thing with him for obvious reasons, but the rest of it starts to come into focus.
And
which is why they don't want to share details with anybody.
Yeah.
He'll share them with Trudy. He'll share them with Lenoard, but not with anybody else. He does not. There's no trust there. Why would there be? You got a guy who blew his own face half off.
Yeah.
That's this guy who is a would-be cult leader. Yeah. These whack jobs all over the place. Chubb is okay, I guess, except he's incompetent. He's the source of a good scene there, good comic scene when he gets stuck in a mud hole. So
Chubb's last scene is really beautiful in a weird way.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a really sad but noble way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd be real curious to get your response to that.
Cool. Yeah, so obviously there's pathos in Chubb. I mean, that's true. This particular scene, though, was more about just he loses his pants and he has to come back to the homestead and hose himself off bare ass.
It was horrible.
It's just, it's like some high school misadventure.
Yes, it certainly is.
Yes.
Gosh. Yeah, really good episode. And again, about the music, I would not be surprised if James Porfoy suggested it, because when he was doing Solomon Kane, when they did the fight sequence for that, the first fight sequence, they didn't have any music playing, and James Porfoy's like, what, something's missing here, and he turns on Motorhead's Ace of Spades. And that's what he was listening. You don't hear it in the movie, but that's what they were playing for him to do the scene, which is really cool. But so I wouldn't be surprised if James at all had a hand in the music at all. I would not be.
Well, soundscape's really important in this series. It's establishes itself very early on, obviously.
Yeah.
Really important to the mood and the pacing of certain scenes.
Yeah. I do like the swamp element they have in this episode too. Again, you're tramping up very, like you guys said, very Hardy Boys. A bit of Huck Finn too, a bit too.
Sure.
Got all that vibe. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Sure. When do you guys want to do episode 3?
As soon as we can, whenever you like.
Tomorrow's good then. Tomorrow's
good.
Is there anything you guys want to add about this episode?
I think things are unfolding, and it's nice to see. I forget his name now. The fellow who's playing Hap. The last time I saw him was in Rome. We watched Rome not too long ago, and he playing Mark Antony. What a layered and somewhat pathetic performance. I mean, it's really good. And
he's a good actor.
But this is much more nuanced and kind of, it's not as dramatic, I guess, because Rome is quite a dramatic.
It really is.
Acting scape.
Yeah, James is a good actor. I mean, hands down. So, really, really talented. The one thing I love most here too, with all the characters, each character sort of gets something. You get something from Howard. You get something from Lenoard. You get something from Hap.
Yeah.
You definitely get something from Trudy. And you get a little more of a shade on the guy with the blown up face. And it's like, okay, like there's a lot going on.
Yeah, he's got a history, absolutely.
Yeah. And you got 2 people who are just fucking crazy looking for him, that are brutal. And it's like, what are they going to... I think that was one of the best questions, too, that they had in this series, like in the first season. What are these 2 going to do with this guy? Are they going to catch up to him and just kill him?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Slowly.
Like, it's like, Jesus.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Really, really good episode. If you guys have not seen Hap and Lenoard, go watch it. Very, very good. We'll do episode 3 tomorrow night.
Oh, sounds good.
Guys, link to Patrick Cray's Dark Shadows Day Book of Bounds is going to be in the description box. Link to Alan Glenn's YouTube channel, Colin Sport After Dark, is going to be in the description box. You guys have a safe night.
Take care.
Bye-bye.